Hello friends, the Scoop from Garage Gym Reviews. Today we are reviewing another trap bar, another open-ended trap bar in our quest to review every piece of equipment that's on the market. We are almost done with the trap bar category, yeah! Now there'll be other ones that come out, but we have tested and reviewed a lot of these. If you'd like to see any of those, make sure you check our backlog. In addition to that, if you'd like to see other ones, let me know in the comments which ones you'd like to see. I actually have one coming up that is kind of like this, but it's only 100 bucks. Seriously, we have it on order, it's coming in. You should be excited because it is very dang similar. And only $100. If you'd like to see that, make sure you subscribe. But today I am taking a look at the Bells of Steel industrial trap bar as well as their normal open hex bar. Now I don't have the open hex bar with me. I've tested it and reviewed it. We have it on the site if you'd like to see that years ago. But these are very similar trap bars to one another with some minor differences both in the strength and some of their capabilities. But really, as with much of Bells of Steel equipment, they're designed to be a budget-friendly option. And I really think they hit a budget price point. The question is really not, are they good values, but are they a better value than other ones that are out there? I'll speak to that as well as compare them to many others and tell you what I like and what I don't like about them, just like we do in every video. Also, if you'd like to purchase this, you can check the links below, like button. We'll put links down there. Once you go to the site and purchase them, Bells of Steel will pay us a small commission. Doesn't increase how much you pay. And also, just so you know, because I hate watching channels where they don't call this stuff out, this was sent to us free of charge by Bells of Steel. Doesn't change what we say. They'll never see the video before we publish it. They see it at the exact same time you do. And I'll just give you my honest take, my opinions, just like we always do. Okay, let's get into it. This is the industrial trap bar. They also make an open hex bar that is more budget-friendly version. These are really budget-friendly trap bars. These are cheaper than some of the more expensive ones that don't even have the open end. And I think they really hit a price point that many home gym owners are looking to spend on something like a specialty bar. A specialty bar is called a specialty bar because it's designed to do much more specialized movements than say a barbell. You get a barbell, that's primary for most of you. That's what I would say if you're looking for a bar for your garage gym or home gym. Get an Olympic bar, you can do a lot with it, whether you use it in the rack, on the floor, or in a landmine. There's just a ton you can do with it. But your next bar, in my opinion, should probably be a trap bar safety squat bar. If it was me, I'd probably buy a trap bar simply because I do a lot of trap bar deadlifts, but there's a lot of ways you can use these, and the open-end design that's on both of these options allows it to be even more versatile. So you can use it not just for trap bar deadlifts, but you can also use it for lunges, for carries. You can use it for cleans actually, because one side is open, or for presses. I actually use mine for a neutral grip press all the time. The reason it's very nice is because you can put your head in the middle and then press overhead, whereas with most multi-grip bars that have neutral grips, like football bars, Swiss bars, you can't do that because there's a big bar in the way. These work really well for that because they're an open-end design. I love it. Let's start with some of the features on these. So one thing outside of the value proposition is they do have a lot of features that some of the higher, more expensive trap bars have. So number one is they both have jack stands. That's what they're standing on now. The jack stands are one of those features that you don't realize you want it until you have it. And then you're like, man, why does my Olympic bar have this built in? It basically allows you to jack the bar up, leave it there so it's not gonna move around, but more importantly, it lifts the plates off enough so you can easily put them on. It's definitely a bougie feature, not something required, but it's the same reason that people use deadlift jacks. You know, it's like you could just come in, prop up the bar, and then you can place the weight on. Very nice, but having something that's simply built on the bar is something you're just like, man, I wish that was on my Olympic bar because it is such a nice feature, and these both have it. Now, the way they're doing it is they're using these rubber feet. The rubber feet are nice because it allows it to grip the floor, but also prevents it from, say, scarring up your wooden platform that you spent so much money or so much time building. I'm really glad they went with this, whereas there's some companies out there, say the Kabuki Strength Trap Bar, they're not even UHMW coated or anything like that. It's just metal and it can tear up your platform. So I like the rubber feet. Now, another thing to talk about is the dual handle height. Now, you don't have to have a dual handle height for adjusting the height of the bar. You could use the bar in, say, a rack and do pin pulls. You could use it on jerk blocks for block pulls to adjust, but having something that you don't have to have anything extra, you don't have to set anything else up, you just have a dual handle height, I feel like for a trap bar specifically is pretty necessary. Any of the trap bars that I have that are just a single handle, no matter how good, such as the first version of the Laco Op and Deadlift bar, I just don't end up using them that much. I often, when I'm deadlifting with a trap bar, one reason I do it is because I can start at a higher handle height. I really like that feature. It's just better for balance and also gives me a better starting point. I feel better using it. Also allows me to get more vertical at the start of the pull. I like the higher handle heights. So the fact that these have them standard, no extra cost, is very nice. Now you can also get those on very cheap trap bars. There's some out there like the Cap trap bars that are very cheap that have dual handle heights. But this one has it as well, and I'm really glad it has it because some of the open trap bars that have come out don't. Now, another thing to hit on is the width of the handles. There are other trap bars out there, specifically the Rep open trap bar, that when it came out, it had really wide handles. It was one of the biggest downsides to it. They've since corrected that and now offer a narrow handle and send out a normal width handle with the bar. I prefer a more narrow grip. Now, there's benefits to a wider grip. It's a reason that some people do snatch grip deadlifts, force you to use your traps a lot more. But I like a narrow handle because it works for more people. If you're really small, having to grip all the way out here just does not feel good if you have a short wingspan. This is 23.6 inches, which I think is okay. I mean, the standard, if you look at, say, the standard trap bar that, say, the military uses, the Rogue TB2 or the Sorinex, it's more around 25 inches, but I would prefer narrow than more wide. I think even if you're just an absolute strongman monster with lots of girth in the waist, you're gonna still be able to fit in this just fine. But if you are that big, you may wanna look at other trap bars that have a wider handle. It doesn't adjust at all, but for those that are smaller, you're really gonna like the width on this. Now, looking at the handles, the industrial trap bar is knurled with an aggressive knurl, and it is quite aggressive, but I really like it. I think this bar is really marketed and designed more for people that are lifting very heavy. It's why they have the longer sleeve on this. It's why it also has a higher weight limit than their open hex track bar. This has a weight limit, a max weight limit that they warranty for it of 882 pounds. I don't know why they added those 2 pounds, but 882 pounds, if you go over that, then your warranty goes away. I would suspect that this thing will have no problem with more weight than that, but they're basically doing that. So if it does break at a higher weight, it's on you, not on them. But 882 pounds on a trap bar is very heavy. If you're lifting more than that, you probably want to use a bar that isn't open-ended. It's got a closed end because it's going to be stronger. But 882 pounds, 100K tensile strength PSI steel that's open-ended, has only one side connected, I think is very heavy. Also, because of the longer sleeve length on this, if you're using bumper plates, you can fit more weight than some of the cheaper trap bars that are more compact because they often have very small sleeves, including the more cheap version that Bells of Steel offers has a shorter sleeve. So if you have bumper plates, like standard black bumper plates, you may want to get this option because you're going to be able to lift heavier because they take up so much space on the bar. Now, the coating that's used on this one specifically and is also on the knurl is a Cerakote. It's a black Cerakote. It is very good looking. Cerakote is very corrosion resistant. I like Cerakote. It's also a very thin layer of paint that goes on there, so you feel the knurl really well. It doesn't fill it in. I like Cerakote. The other version, the more cheap version, uses a black oxide. I don't like black oxide. It ends up wearing. It doesn't look as good. It doesn't resist corrosion as much. I'm telling you, after a little while, it just ends up looking like crap. Cerakote will fare better over time. So I like that the more expensive version, they actually used a better coating, and it's just better for the knurling. Now, I think that the standout aesthetic feature of this is something that nobody can deny, is this beautiful gold titanium sleeve. Now, I've looked up exactly what the coating is, and some of you in the comments probably know. You can let me know in the comments, and everybody else. I don't think it's exactly titanium or gold. It's not like they're putting 24 karat gold in this, but it looks freaking sick. Also, it's a very hard coating, but it's just a really cool looking bar. They're industrial series of bars. They're making this same way. So they have a curl bar, they have a rackable curl bar. Fringe Sport uses a similar style with a gold titanium plated sleeve as well with a black Cerakote shaft. It's just really cool combo. If you're just looking for a bar that you want people to come in and grab because it looks sweet, say you're a gym, or you just want some to show off, this is it. Like I have some $1,000 barbells. If I have one of these in my gym, this is what people go to. It's funny, but it just looks really cool. It's also a good feature because it avoids scarring and marring that would be there if you were using Cerakote or zinc or something like that. Like it just lasts a really long time because it's a really hard surface. The sleeves are also rotating. Something you don't see with a lot of these trap bars is they weld the sleeves on. Even the higher end, more expensive ones like the Rogue TB2 or Soranex, they use welded axle sleeves. This is an Olympic sleeve that therefore takes Olympic collars. You don't have to have a special collar and is rotating with a bronze bushing. I like a rotating sleeve because I'll often use these for jumps or people use them for cleans, presses, curls. I want to be able to have something that rotates and I want to be able to have an Olympic sleeve, especially at some of these price points. So both this one and their cheaper one do have that. Now the start weight for this big boy is 80 pounds. That's a pretty heavy start weight. There's not many bars that have a start weight that high or higher. Now it's fine because it's a deadlift bar, but if you're say using this bar to train some clients and they're not that strong, 80 pounds may be a heavy start weight. Their more budget friendly version starts at 47 pounds, which is nice. It's close to what you're using. You can just guess it and use it at 45 pounds. You can basically just assume it's a 45 pound start weight so you can do easy math, but this has to weigh more because it's using heavier steel and also more of it because it has a longer sleeve. But the big benefit of this one versus their other one is that longer sleeve allows it to be rackable. So that's what this section right here is designed for, so that you can place it in a rack. The reason you want to place this in a rack, again, is because you want to press with it or use it for pin pulls and some of those other things that the open trap bar design allows. If you use the other version or some of those versions that are out there that aren't rackable, you're basically limiting the functionality you could have with the bar. Now here's like the biggest question with this is like, yeah, it's good. Like, and it's a pretty good value, but why would you buy this versus the many others that are out there? Here's what I'd say. This is a very strong trap bar in a similar design that a lot of people are used to, with an aggressive knurl, with a cool looking design with Cerakote and a gold titanium sleeve, a long sleeve, and just is a good performer at a pretty good price, around 500 bucks. On sale, it's around like $450 with free shipping. Their cheaper, more budget-friendly version is $300, not rackable, does have dual handle heights, and is pretty strong, up to 700 and something pounds. Both of them have lifetime warranties, but because I just give honest reviews, these are not as good a value as other ones that are on the market. For instance, you look at the Bells of Steel Open Hex Bar, that is the $300 version, that's pretty in line or even more expensive at times than the giant lifting Northland Open Trap Bar, which I think is really the best value in the category. It's right around $260. Sometimes you have to pay shipping. Sometimes it's 300 bucks, depending on the sale they're running, but most of the time it's around 260, 270. That one is designed as like a combo between the Kabuki and the Eleiko, which are much more expensive bars. We've done a full review on it. If you'd like to see it, make sure you click the link below the like button. We'll put one there for you. But that bar, I think, is a much better value than the cheaper one. Like, it's just really good. It's also rackable, also open-ended, also has the jack feature, has everything and more than the cheaper version has. Then you have this one, and you're like, all right, 450 bucks. Should I step up and pay more for this one? Well, I don't think so, because the reason is when you compare this to the Rep Open Trap Bar, which is a very good design, modular features, also can be used as a camber bar, also has a very long sleeve, also is rackable, also has dual handle heights, also has really good stainless knurl. It's like, it's hard for me to recommend this at 450 bucks. So this is kind of where I stand. These are good bars, good values. If you want to go with them, you like this design, I understand. But if it were me, the ones I would suggest over the Hex Trap Bar from Bells of Steel would be the giant Northland bar, maybe a little bit more with shipping, but it's really close. Or honestly, I'd recommend the Rep Open Trap Bar over this one because it's less money and I think better overall feature. So the tail of the tape is that these are good, they're good values, but I think there's been many more trap bars come out since these came out, because these came out a while ago, that Bells of Steel needs to come out with something new so I can review. Okay, do you agree with me? Have you used these bars? It's been out a while. I'd love to hear your opinions on them. We get asked about these quite a bit because I do think they're a good value, and this one, just like, if you love the aesthetics, there's no other trap bar that looks, I think, as cool as this one. It looks really sweet. But let me know in the comments. This has been Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. I'll see you next time. Peace.